First astronaut aboard will be the commander, astronaut Pete Conrad, who sits in the left-hand seat. He will be followed by the lunar module pilot, Alan Bean, who sits in the right-hand seat. While these first two crewmen are going aboard, the third member of the crew, astronaut Dick Gordon, will remain in the elevator at the 320-foot level. He will be in the company of a suit technician, and as the progress of the second astronaut, Alan Bean, is accomplished, as he's brought aboard, Dick Gordon will be called across the swing arm and will be the third member of the crew to come aboard. The transfer van now departing from the crew quarters at the Manned Spacecraft Operations Building here at the Kennedy Space Center on the start of the trip to the launch pad. We're at 3 hours, 10 minutes, 20 seconds, and counting. We'll go on the Apollo 12 countdown at this time. This is Kennedy Launch Control.
Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testing, testing.
You are right there. Now,
Hey, how about that?
you're blocked by these two buses. In case of emergency, if you have to get out before the motorcade leaves, we'll lift the rope and get you right out that way.
Okay, good, Jack. I don't think I'll have
That's the only place we can get you.
Okay, good.
Close by. Come in, pull right back in and load.
All right, good.
Brakes over now, back.
Well, that's nice.
Stop for you. Thank you.
Gee, you guys can do anything, can't you? I appreciate it, Jack. Testing, testing. Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing. In a studio. No, I don't mind remotes.
You know why this walkway is divided. And
I have
you
no
know
idea.
which side the president's going to walk down.
I don't know at all.
I can't find
it's kind of a
anybody
mystery.
who knows.
It's kind of a mystery to
Well,
me.
I wish you'd walk
But
down
you-
over there. It'd be easier to cover on camera.
Yeah. The reason I put this thing out here, well, I can put it.
Well, as long as it's here, I'll tell you, we'll set the shot now.
Okay. Well, it's going to be roughly in here. Might go a foot or two either way. If they want it on that side of the rope, fine, I'll put it there. But I have not yet been able to get decision on it. And so it falls to me to make the decision as to where he's going to speak from. So it'll be right around in this area, generally lined up with this crack in the pavement here. Because I want to get him far enough behind these speakers so when they put it on the PA, we don't get feedback. Huh? What? Okay, I'll go crank it up, and then will I send it back to you and we can test it? I'll crank up the level. Huh? What do you mean they won't send it back here? They're supposed to. They're supposed to. It's for the PA system. Fine, let's have it. That's what we intended. If the president speaks, that's exactly where we want it to go, all over the whole place. Over the PA system here, and they can pipe it anywhere they want, because it's public remarks. It's not off the record. Well, we got to test the bloody thing some way. I want that test done. I don't care who's up there. The White House wants that test done. I'll give them a higher level. I'm gonna make a test count, maybe 1 through 10, and then back down to 0. Right. Right, just like if the president was talking. It'll be a short test. They're probably hearing what I say now, so that's why I'm close up to the microphone. It'll be a short test. I'm not going to talk very long. I just want to make sure this PA system works. Thank you. Okay, I'll go turn it up now. Testing, testing, testing. This is a test. Testing, testing, testing. This is a test. This is a test. Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3.
This is Apollo Saturn Launch Control, T-minus 2 hours, 58 minutes, 54 seconds, and counting. The Apollo 12 crewmen aboard their transfer van now going down the last leg on their trip to the launch pad. They're on the main road now. They've gone past the Launch Control Center and are heading down. They'll be coming up shortly on the Mobile Service Structure Park site, and then we'll make the turn toward Pad A. It's about 18 minutes that we give the transfer van to make the trip from the crew quarters to the launch pad. Once the astronauts do arrive at the pad, they'll board one elevator that will take them inside the mobile launcher and a second high-speed elevator that will take them up the mobile service structure to the 320-foot level from where they will board their Apollo 12 spacecraft. The backup command module pilot, Al Worden, is aboard the spacecraft at this time, as he has been for the last 30 or 40 minutes or so, performing final checks of switches and the water and environmental control system in preparation for the arrival of the crew. Standing by in the White Room, awaiting the arrival of the astronauts, are the pad leader, a command module technician, and a quality control representative. We expect the crew to board the spacecraft starting at the 2-hour, 40-minute mark in the count. This is the way it is according to the book, which would be some 17 minutes from this time. It could be earlier, depending on their arrival. We had some rain in the launch pad area. It's difficult to tell whether it is still raining at this time in the pad area. However, the weather forecast still stands as acceptable for our launch attempt at 11:22 a.m. We're continuing to monitor the status of the launch vehicle here in the firing room at the Launch Control Center. All is well with the countdown at this time. We are go for Apollo 12. 2 hours, 57 minutes, 3 seconds and counting. This is Launch Control. This is Apollo Saturn launch control. T-minus 2 hours, 53 minutes, 5 seconds, and counting. The prime crew for Apollo 12 now has arrived at the launch pad. The 3 crewmen are aboard the first of 2 elevators they'll use to get to the 320-foot level. They're now joined in the elevators by the 2 suit technicians. The first elevator will take them to the A level inside the mobile launcher. Once inside, they will walk through the A level of the mobile launcher to catch one of the 2 high-speed elevators that are located at the A level. These elevators can travel at 600 feet per minute. They will take the astronauts, all 3 crewmen, up to the 320-foot level, from where Conrad and Bean will cross the swing arm to approach the white room where their spacecraft is located. The astronauts now going into the A level of the mobile launcher. They step across a bulkhead, walk down a short hall, and then aboard a waiting elevator. This elevator is controlled by the capsule communicator here in the firing room, who is astronaut Paul Weitz for this mission. The Apollo 12 astronauts now going down the hall. They'll board the high-speed elevator and should be up near the spacecraft shortly. 2 hours, 51 minutes, 48 seconds, and counting. This is launch control. The Apollo Saturn launch control. T-minus 2 hours, 48 minutes, 56 seconds, and counting. The astronauts have arrived in the white room. That is the spacecraft commander, Pete Conrad, and the lunar module pilot, Alan Bean. The 3rd member of the crew, astronaut Dick Gordon, will stand by in an elevator located on the mobile launcher at the 320-foot level. He is in the company of a suit technician and will be called across the swing arm after his 2 colleagues go aboard. The spacecraft commander, Pete Conrad, now boarding the spacecraft. He sits in the left-hand seat. We have him over the sill at 33 minutes past the hour. 8:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Pete Conrad is aboard the Apollo 12 spacecraft. Astronaut Al Warden, the backup command module pilot, will be a fourth astronaut in the spacecraft for some 30 or 40 minutes. He's inside now, and he will give a hand in seating all three astronauts in their couches. Warden will work in the front of the spacecraft, that is in front of the couches, giving a hand, while the suit technician works in the rear, that is behind each couch. So at certain points we will have actually 5 people in the spacecraft, the 3 crewmen, the backup command module pilot Al Warden, and just inside the spacecraft, the suit technician. And Warden and the suit technician will give a hand in getting the astronauts seated snugly into their couches and help them with their preliminary checks. Alan Bean, the lunar module pilot, who'll sit in the right-hand seat, should be coming across the sills shortly. Dick Gordon, as we reported, still standing by in an elevator on the other side of the Apollo access arm. The spacecraft test conductor has just made a communications check and received a cheery good morning from Pete Conrad, the spacecraft commander. That is our status at this time. We're 2 hours, 47 minutes and counting, theoretically some 7 or 8 minutes ahead of the planned procedure time for astronaut ingress. All still going well at this time, with Conrad aboard, Bean standing by in the White Room, and Dick Gordon still awaiting the call in the elevator at the 320-foot level. This is launch control. Launch control, the spacecraft commander, astronaut Pete Conrad, now fitted snugly into his couch on the left-hand seat of the Apollo 12 spacecraft, and the space suit technician and backup command module pilot Al Worden now giving astronaut Alan Bean a hand in checking him out. In each case, as an astronaut is brought in to the spacecraft, he goes through the same sequence, that is to hook up a communications cable, then actually hook the astronaut and his pressurized garment into the suit circuit system of the spacecraft to bring the oxygen flow to the suit. This is followed by some communications checks, and finally we get some preliminary medical readouts on each astronaut, and in a final check to assure that everything is okay, the spacecraft test conductor in each case asked the astronauts to check some panels nearby to assure that as he came aboard, he might not have inadvertently hit some of the switches. So in each case, we have a switch list check, a brief one. We expect that the spacecraft test conductor, Skip Chauvin, will be calling the third member of the crew, Dick Gordon, to come across the swing arm shortly. We'll be standing by. We appear to be right on time as far as our procedures are concerned. Here in the firing room, the crew continuing to monitor the status of the Saturn V launch vehicle as we continue with crew ingress. We're now at 2 hours, 36 minutes, 26 seconds and counting. We are go for Apollo 12 on our launch attempt with the window opening at 11:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Kennedy Launch Control. This is Apollo Saturn Launch Control, T-minus 2 hours, 28 minutes, 55 seconds and counting. Still go with Apollo 12 at this time. At the 320-foot level at Launch Pad A, where the hatch for the Apollo 12 spacecraft is located, we now have the third member of the crew aboard. Dick Gordon, a command module pilot who sits in the middle seat of the spacecraft, came aboard the spacecraft at 46 minutes past the hour. We boarded all three astronauts in a span of about 13 minutes. At this time, the spacecraft test conductor talking with the crew in the White Room and aboard the spacecraft, going through the final checks of getting astronaut Dick Gordon aboard, getting him checked into the couch, tied into the suit circuit system, having him check a few switches to assure that he did not bump any on the ingress activity. We still have the suit technician in the spacecraft, and in front in the lower equipment bay is Al Worden, also giving a hand as we go through the preliminary checkout of the three pilots aboard. We'll get a quick medical readout here shortly on Dick Gordon, and then a Houston flight. Mission Control Center Houston is standing by to perform some communication checks with the astronauts aboard the spacecraft. All still going well with the count. Weather is go, and we're still aiming toward our planned T0 at 11:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 2 hours, 27 minutes, 29 seconds and counting. This is Kennedy Launch Control. Broadcast van. This is Apollo Saturn Launch Control. T-minus 2 hours, 18 minutes, 35 seconds, and counting. Still proceeding on schedule. In fact, a few minutes ahead of schedule in our preparations for the launch of Apollo 12. Our checkout in the spacecraft command module going well at the 320-foot level. We've just had Al Warden, who was for a while the fourth astronaut aboard the spacecraft. He has just come out after giving the three prime pilots a hand on their preliminary checkouts. We'll be ready in a short while here, perhaps a little ahead of time, to close the hatch. And we'll be coming up with some more command checks from the Mission Control Center in Houston. These are checks in which Houston can send commands to the spacecraft, and the astronauts confirm that these commands have been received and actually accepted by the spacecraft computer. This is a requirement, of course, for launch, that following liftoff, if necessary, direct commands could be sent from the ground to update the spacecraft computer. Our countdown still going normally here in Firing Room 2, the crew continuing to monitor the overall status of the Saturn V launch vehicle, keeping a close eye on the various propellants aboard, and all our propellants are stable as the countdown continues. All still going well. The pad leader has just reported that he's ready to close the hatch, and it looks like hatch closure is coming up in a matter of seconds. The hatch being closed now at about 5 minutes past the hour. We seem to be progressing very well in our work up there at the 320-foot level with the three astronauts and their preliminary checkouts aboard Apollo 12. 2 hours, 16 minutes, 57 seconds, and counting. We are still go on Apollo 12. This is Kennedy Launch Control.